My Chicago Bears select Justin Fields, quarterback, Ohio State.
The San Francisco 49ers select Trey Lance, quarterback, North Dakota State.
Week 1 is now set up to be a historic matchup for two young quarterbacks that will always be compared against each other. Justin Fields and Trey Lance. Overlooked in the news of the 49ers giving Jimmy G permission to seek a trade is the rivalry set forth to start between Fields and Lance. They are the NFC's two young signal callers from last year's star-studded quarterback class. These two are going to have a rivalry going forward, and week 1 of this season will mark the first time they get to face off in their young careers. The two teams met last year, but Trey Lance did not play. He watched as Justin Fields made one of the best plays of the entire season. The 49ers would win the game, but Fields showed the world just how talented he is. When you look around the AFC, there is a new breed of young quarterbacks taking over. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, and to a lesser degree, guys like Trevor Lawrence, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, and maybe even Tua. The Brady, Brees, Manning, Rodgers era of the NFL is coming to an end. A new breed of QBs has already taken over in the AFC. Right now, Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Joe Burrow are sitting on top of that throne. They have young guys like Herbert, Jackson, and Deshaun Watson breathing down their neck, with some second-year guys on the up as well. The vets in the AFC are Russell Wilson and Matt Ryan. So what about the NFC? What does the quarterback landscape look like over there? Clearly, Rodgers and Brady are the big dogs. Both guys have to retire soon, though, right? Russ Wilson is gone to the AFC, and Drew Brees is retired. Matt Stafford isn't young, and I question how much longer he plays as well. So who are the young guys in the NFC? Well, you have Kyler Murray as the elite option right now. I don't know where you classify Dak Prescott, but he fits the bill as well. After that, who are next up? It's Justin Fields and Trey Lance. They are both young, exciting playmakers who are being handed the full keys to their respective offense this year. The 49ers went to the NFC Championship last year and have great weapons for Lance, like Deebo Samuel, George Kittle, and Brandon Ayuk. This might be why some people are so much more hyped for Lance. The 49ers made a huge move to trade up to number 3 overall last year. Everyone knew it was to take a quarterback. Rumors swirled that it was Mac Jones. I knew all alone it wasn't. I knew Shanahan wanted either Justin Fields or Trey Lance. I accurately predicted on Twitter not only that the 49ers would take Trey Lance over Mac Jones, but also that Justin Fields would slide to the 10 to 12 range and that we could trade up for him. At the same time that Adam Schefter was telling the world that the 49ers were going to take Mac Jones, I went to Twitter and predicted it would be Trey Lance. Adam Schefter was wrong, but most of the world believed him. I was dead on. My tweet got like 50 likes. Now, I will never understand why the 49ers took Lance over Fields. I watched every single game of tape from both of them. And to me, Fields was easily a top 3 pick in any draft class. I think Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence were just miles above the rest of the class. I then had Zach Wilson, Trey Lance, and Mac Jones all grouped together. All very good prospects, but not on the same level as the other two. Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence were just always on another level. Since high school, they have been seen as elite prospects. Both put up jaw-dropping numbers and led their teams to back-to-back college football playoff appearances. In both seasons, one QB ended the other's season. It was Trevor Lawrence coming up with the win in their first meeting. Justin Fields then followed that up the next season with an inspiring performance in the Sugar Bowl. He ended Trevor Lawrence's college season and career. He threw 6 touchdowns and completed 22 of 28 passes for 385 yards. That game ended Trevor Lawrence's college career. Nobody can watch that one game and say that Lawrence is a better prospect. Remember the hit that Fields took on the spin move? And then he came out a couple of plays later and threw that beautiful touchdown pass to Chris Olave. It was simply one of the most incredible and memorable games in college football history. What Fields did at Ohio State was remarkable. He had back-to-back undefeated regular seasons as a starter in the Big Ten. He also capped both of those seasons off with Big Ten titles and berths into the college football playoffs. That is right, Justin Fields went 19-0 in his career in the regular season at Ohio State. He also had one of the most incredible stats in college football. In 2020, after 3 games, he had as many touchdown passes as he did incompletions. That is just insane. It's one of those stats that shows how great of a passer Justin Fields is. So let's get back to the topic at hand here. Justin Fields versus Trey Lance. Let's compare career stats first. Justin Fields in 34 college games threw for 5,701 yards, 67 touchdowns, and 9 interceptions. Trey Lance in 19 career games threw 2,947 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 1 interception. What about the rushing stats? Fields had 1,133 yards to go with 19 touchdowns. Lance had 1,325 yards and 18 touchdowns. Fields had a higher QB rating, a higher completion percentage, higher yards per attempt, higher average distance to target. He was more accurate. He threw past his first read more often. He had a higher rating from a clean pocket and played much tougher competition. While Justin Fields was ripping Clemson's defense apart in the college football playoff game, what was Trey Lance doing? Well, he wasn't playing that season. But let's compare what he did in his championship game the season that he did play. In North Dakota State's 28-20 win over James Madison, Trey Lance completed 6 passes but ran the ball 30 times. You heard that right. In the championship game against much lower competition than Fields faces on a weekly basis, Trey Lance threw the ball 6 times and ran it 30 times. To me, that sounds like the coaches didn't trust him to throw, and that is what I occasionally saw on film as well. Now, to be fair, they did win the FCS National Championship. But I mean, think about it. In Lance's biggest game of his career, he threw the ball 6 times against James Madison. In Justin Fields' biggest game of his career, he threw 6 touchdowns and took down Trevor Lawrence and Clemson in a huge revenge game and a battle of the top 2 prospects in the nation. Fields threw 6 touchdowns and blew out Clemson. Lance threw 6 passes and ran to a 1-score victory over James Madison. Now, I'm not trashing Trey Lance here. I love Lance's game. He has a lot of potential as a passer and is a dangerous runner already. Fields is just a way more developed passer and could actually even be a better runner in my opinion. That is to be determined, but Fields is a passer first and then uses his 4.3 speed and incredible athleticism to get away and make plays with his legs. Trey Lance has a lot of potential, but at this point, a lot of it is just that, potential. I think the 49ers took a huge risk when they drafted Trey Lance over Justin Fields. Shanahan saw both of them up close and personal during evaluations. They traded a lot of draft capital to get their quarterback. Trey Lance and Justin Fields' names were on the board. The card the 49ers turned in had Trey Lance, North Dakota State on it. Justin Fields remembers that. I remember that. I believe Fields already has a huge rivalry with Trevor Lawrence. It goes back to high school when Fields beat him in the Elite 7-on-7 championship and took home the MVP. Then he ended Trev's collegiate career. They were graded as the number 1 and number 2 prospects coming out of high school. They played that way in college too. The draft rolled around, and after Trevor Lawrence went number 1, it was Zach Wilson and Trey Lance, the NFL draft made it clear that the 49ers preferred Trey Lance over Justin Fields. A lot of the world now just accepts that as a fact. I see Trey Lance going a lot higher than Fields in fantasy and dynasty drafts. I see him getting hype while media pundits continue to doubt Fields. I like Trey Lance a lot. I think he's going to be a good quarterback and was a solid prospect. However, in my opinion, he just wasn't on Justin Fields' level when it comes to a prospect in the NFL draft. We will all find out over the next few years. Heck, these guys could be battling it out in the NFC for the next decade or longer. Will Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers regret passing on Justin Fields? That is the question, and it's to be determined. But the first battle of Justin Fields versus Trey Lance is set. Get your popcorn ready. The 49ers have a better roster and a better head coach. I believe the Chicago Bears have the better quarterback, though. In the NFL, that means a lot. Round 1 of Fields versus Lance has me extremely excited for the season. Stay tuned. I have some bonus coverage. And until next time, bear down. All my Bears fans out there that want to know what's coming up, I have full position breakdowns coming. I'm breaking down the entire roster by position group, and also my big Justin Fields video is coming soon. I'm dropping it in August before the season starts, guys. Be ready for that and stay tuned. Listen, if you're watching the video, let me know who your favorite of the rookie quarterbacks were from last year. Let me know if you prefer Trey Lance or Justin Fields. I want to hear your guys' opinions too. It means a lot. Hit that like button. You better subscribe to the channel. And until next time, guys, bear down. You're still here? It's over. What are you doing? Go. It's over.